What's good, y'all? It's your boy Tony the Savant back with another one. Let me do the intro. Shout out to the BCE, the SCE, my boy Mello, that's the press. Shout out to my boy Jeezy, that's the manager. Shout out to my cousin Hawk. I love you, G. Been supporting since day one. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. So, y'all know, I'm really happy to hear this news, guys. That's what I'm saying. Brian Windhorst has just reported, not just, but I think the news broke yesterday or the day before yesterday that the Los Angeles Clippers. Let me hit the T, guys. I didn't have my voice last week, so I was out of commission. Getting all over this little summer cold, but anyway, excuse me. Los Angeles Clippers. Brian Windhorst has reported that the Los Angeles Clippers are very reluctant and hesitant to give Kawhi Leonard and Paul George 4-year extensions. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not eligible for an extension or that they won't possibly get an extension. I just did a video covering that the Los Angeles Lakers have just extended Anthony Davis for 3 years. I'm sure there was an option for 4 on the table, but they elected to go with 3. So just for the reasons, I believe that now on second thought, I'm probably thinking that they only did 3 because Anthony Davis hasn't been as available and durable as they would have liked to expect. So signing them up for a 4-year, shoving them out another $50 million, that probably didn't make sense to them. So anyway, to keep it about the Clippers, they are at that same, they are at a point where, at least how Windhorst is reporting it, they are at a point where they are very hesitant to give Kawhi Leonard and Paul George extensions, 4-year extensions, because of the previous 4 years that these guys have had. Let me say that statistically, Kawhi Leonard is averaging about 26 points during his tenure as the Clippers. Pretty good on the rebound. I want to say about 6 or 7 rebounds, 5 to 7 rebounds. I can't remember exactly on that one. About 5 assists. Same for PG, about 23 points, 6 or 7 rebounds, 4 or 5 assists. Anyway, the point of the matter is that these guys have been productive, when they're playing, they have been productive. They have been impressive. The Los Angeles Clippers do have, as currently constructed, championship aspirations. And it's very difficult to come off of a Kawhi Leonard because the moment you get rid of Kawhi Leonard, you'll be looking for another Kawhi Leonard. So it's the matter of the fact that I understand why the Los Angeles Clippers are in the situation that they're in. But when you look at what you've gotten from Kawhi Leonard, like I said, fix up the studio. We getting great, get right. Anyway, when you look at the durability of Kawhi Leonard and what we've dealt with these previous seasons, it's like, do you want to give this guy $220 million to just sit out half a season? These previous 2 seasons, I want to say his first season in LA played upwards to like 60 games. In these previous 2 seasons, he's played 52 and 52. So the matter of the fact, and also I'm going to shoot Kawhi Leonard some bail. He had a legendary playoffs. The 2 games that he played, it was legendary. He was balling out. I for sure had the Clippers winning that series against the Suns, at least 5-1. Not 5-1, 4-1, 4-2 in the worst case scenario. But it was purely predicated on Kawhi Leonard's, performances and his availability. So he did have a legendary performance in that way. And that's why I say it's kind of difficult to come off of a Kawhi Leonard because him and Anthony Davis are in the same pool to me. I like to, tier guys, if you will, not in that corny Nick Wright way. I hate when it's nasty work when Nick Wright tiers these guys because he injects so much personal bias. But I put Anthony Davis and Kawhi Leonard in the same class for this reason alone. When they are healthy and when they're in their bags, you can't think of another player that's as good as them. You could probably say, he looks like Jordan or he looks like Tim Duncan, whatever you want to compare them to. They look like one of the greatest that you've ever seen. But you wouldn't say at that moment as they're playing that you would definitively take another player over them at that moment. Point in case. When Kawhi Leonard won that championship in Toronto, the very next season, and I always knew this was cap. I thought it was cap. Very next season, when he went to Los Angeles, I remember there being a consensus just out of nowhere that Kawhi Leonard was the best player in the league. Now, we had already established that Kawhi Leonard was one of the best players in the league, but people was putting him over Golden State KD. They was putting him over him. They was putting him over LeBron, which I'm not really, what I mean? I know him and LeBron, they go tit for tat, all that kind of stuff. He has gotten LeBron's, the better of LeBron on many nights, as far as their one-on-one matchups. But what I'm saying, as far as when he's playing, he's one of the best in the game. You know what I mean? It's kind of difficult to say that I would take another player over Kawhi Leonard with Kawhi Leonard in his bag, point in case, when he was playing against KD and the Phoenix Suns just his previous playoff run. It was in his bag. I think he had like 38 points one game and another 30 plus after the game two. I'm just saying that they're not available as well. It's the worst, when it's kind of crazy almost that every year, between Anthony Davis and Kawhi Leonard, there's something. So that's why I put them in the same pool. You know what I mean? When they're on the court, they're in their bags. You love them. And any other time you hate it because they're either not available or they, whatever. Anthony Davis isn't consistent at all, but y'all go check out that video I made about that. But Kawhi Leonard's situation is he's on the court, he's great, he's epic, and then he's not. And then when he's not, it's just because he's in street clothes, you know what I mean, and sitting on the sideline. So if I'm a Clippers, if I'm a businessman, do I want to come up off what 30% of my cap? 30% of the money I have available to pay my employees to put together a product that's going to, for the worse of the better, bring me more money? Because once you win a championship, tickets are up, concessions prices are up, beer prices go up, private boxes is really what you're about to be paying for. Just look at the Golden State private box, prices right now. It's crazy. Compare the Golden State's private boxes right now to let's go back to 2012. Compare the two. You're going to say it's crazy. It's crazy numbers. I'm sorry, guys. It's the kind of stuff I like looking into anyway. Point being is that the Clippers are reluctant to pay these dudes because they have not been there. They're investing a lot of money. They've invested a lot of money into Kawhi Leonard, the Kawhi Leonard and Paul George era already. They've given these guys a lot of money. They've put together championship rosters around these dudes, and what ultimately happens outside of that 2020 year bubble collapse, that was embarrassing. We'll talk about that in a minute. Outside of that, the entire time these two dudes have been on the Clippers, there's always been something keeping them back. You know what I mean? We've seen last year Paul George got injured right before the playoffs. It's just crazy to me. What was that? 2021. I believe it was 2021. Yeah. When Kawhi Leonard goes down, but then Paul George is playing epically, to the point where he carries them to the Western Conference Finals. It's just too much for me. You know what I mean? I'm happy I'm not Steve Ballmer. I'm not Steve Ballmer or one of the suits in that room, because I would probably be the person that stands up and be like, no. But like I said, if the moment you get rid of a Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George, you are in the market searching for a Kawhi Leonard and a Paul George. So I understand why they would extend them. Extend them to a 2-year, maybe a 3-year, same kind of deal that Anthony Davis just got, and see what you get out of that. That way, you got them locked in for another season or two, but then you can play around that last season and move them before they, just leave you high and dry. There's many avenues they can take, but I'm happy to hear that the Los Angeles Clippers are very hesitant to pay these dudes, because so far it has been a failed experiment, and even including the bubble year. I know they got, they made that run, and then end up losing the Joker and the Nuggets in a very historic fashion. Nonetheless, this whole experiment has not been worth the money paid out, in my opinion. And so if the Clippers are going to move forward, they definitely have to be hesitant or cautious as to giving these guys more money. But that's just my opinion on it. You know what I mean? I do love Kawhi Leonard, one of my favorite players. I love Paul George. I love the podcast P. I like these two dudes. You know what I'm saying? The only reason I'm not saying give them their money is because are we going to deal with another crazy injury? You two dudes are probably the least durable players in the NBA. let's call it what it is. You know, and outside of probably Zion Williamson, Zion, we already know this is a personal choice he makes to stay off the court. But anyway, let's see what happens. I'll be keeping an eye on this report, like I say. And I'm cheering for the Clippers in this aspect. Don't pay these dudes, man. Don't pay these dudes unless you get a doctor's statement or something from their team that says, yeah, he gonna play. He gonna play. We ain't gonna be playing no more. We ain't doing no more of this load management stuff. And definitely, what I'll be most nervous about is, are these guys going to be available for the playoffs? That's the number one thing I'm nervous about when it comes to Kawhi and PG. So y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment sections. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content on the channel. I can't say thank you enough. I'm very grateful and very humbled by the support I've gotten so far. So please keep it coming. I'm going to keep these videos coming. Got more work in store for y'all, some merch, some collabs, all that kind of stuff. So we working over here. We were definitely working. But it's your boy, Tony the Savant. I'm not a coach. I'm not a player. I'm a savant. Y'all be blessed. Salute.